Bryce, over here to your left. I feel like, you're a well-known fighter in this sport, but this fight in particular, and I think yourself in particular, has gravitated a lot of attention to it for this fight week. Do you feel there's more attention on this fight than any of the others?
Absolutely, brother. I know that this is the biggest fight of my life. You know it. Everybody watching knows it. And that's just God's plan. I couldn't have made this fight any bigger if I would have tried myself. This is the spirit lead me into this. There's nothing that I could have done to sell this fight. God put this fight together, and God's purpose for me is to be up here and perform.
Well, Jean, right here. Obviously, we can tell you're very fired up for this fight week. So I guess just how's fight camp and just fight week been as a whole preparing for this fight against Bryce Mitchell?
Fala, galera. Puta que pariu. Desculpa pelo palavrão, mas... Porra, isso é um sonho. Cara, eu não tô empolgado com a luta, saca? Eu tô empolgado com isso aqui, ó. Isso aqui é meu sonho. Eu sou ansioso para estar na frente de vocês, né? Vou concretizar esse sonho vivendo ele dia 12, né? Mas, para infelicidade, o Bryce Smith vai apanhar.
God damn, pardon my cussing, but you know what, I'm really happy is not about the fight. It's about being here and doing this for you guys, and you know, I'm ready for the 12th, and the dream's going to come true then.
Yeah, you talk about selling the fight. Obviously, we had that press conference. He brought out the globe. He did his best to sell the fight. Did any of that stuff get to you or even affect you at all?
No, it just made me more motivated to win, and I think that that's what God wanted me to be.
You know, you mentioned God a lot. I know your religion is very important to you. What do you make of his spirituality and his religion? How do you think that plays into this fight, if any?
Well, he says that he loves Jesus, but he calls himself Lord, and he doesn't act like he loves Jesus. He doesn't treat me with respect. So I go up based off of that. Based off my interactions with him, he does not have Jesus in his heart because he treats me like total. And I'm not afraid to say that to his face. If you love Jesus, then treat people with respect. And that's not what he does. Jesus' 2 commandments were to love the Lord your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Does he treat me as he treats himself?
You know, Bryce was in here earlier, and he said he feels like there's more attention on this fight than maybe even the main event. You did an interview earlier and said, you know, you feel like you're carrying this entire card. So how has the hype surrounding this fight, what's it been like for you? Because even here in America, it seems like, you know, people are picking sides.
Cara, é uma loucura, né? Eu nem tô lutando pelo cinturão e tô, de certa forma, aí chamando bastante atenção. Isso é incrível. O Bryce Smith é legal ele reconhecer isso, né? Isso é importante, né? A gente tem que dar mérito a quem merece esse mérito. Então, fico feliz com isso também, né? E vocês imaginam que eu tô ainda, né? Vai ser minha 5ª vitória dentro do UFC. E já tô fazendo um barulho desse sem lutar pelo cinturão, irmão. A hora que eu lutar pelo cinturão, fudeu.
You know, it's crazy. I'm not even fighting for the title, and we're getting all this attention, and I'm glad that Bryce notices that. You know, I got to give credit where credit is due, but, you know, look at me, 5 fights in the UFC. Can you imagine the noise when I fight for the title?
He was in here, and he was asked if this was personal. So you said that John Silva, you know, he's made his opinions on you very clear, and you felt like he doesn't like you. But he did an interview last week, and his exact words were, because I guess fans are messaging him that they want him to beat you up and to keep just putting on damage. And he says, this is his exact quote. He goes, "I understand everyone for the shit he said, but I don't have that hate. I don't have that in my heart. If he doesn't continue, I don't continue hitting people when they don't want to fight anymore. I won't continue hitting them because I don't have that hate in my heart." So apparently he doesn't hate you. I think he's just trying to sell the fight. So does that bother you at all even more that maybe the stuff he's saying is just to build a fight and maybe he doesn't believe what he's saying?
Well, like I said, you can say one thing and then act another way. How did he act? A man will be revealed by his fruits. How did he act towards me? Did he act like he loved me?
Here. You know, in all this talk, I think the actual fight itself getting lost a little bit. You're a pretty big underdog here, and I think I see some people being like, that's crazy. He's the underdog bet of the year. Do you feel like you're being discounted in this fight to an unfair degree?
I believe so, but I think this is a great time for all my friends to bet and make a tremendous amount of money off of me. So go ahead, bet the farm. This is the best odds that I've had in a long time. So if you're a betting man, cast your bet.
Bryce down here to your right. In the press conference last month, you got quite the negative reaction from the crowd. Are you a little more prepared now if you get that same reaction tomorrow? And are you kind of embracing that role at all?
Absolutely, brother. These people are coming out, they're making noise, and regardless if they love me or hate me, they're in the seats watching, so I appreciate that. All the fans know that I appreciate them.
With your comments and everything, because he says you treat him like shit. I saw an interview where you said you don't hate Bryce Mitchell, and then I told that to Bryce, and he goes, does he act like he loves me? He was asked if it was personal, and his exact words were, I'm going to personally whoop his ass. So I'm curious what you make of all of these comments.
Cara, olha que legal. Eu saí de uma festa da Armênia, né? O UFC Kickbox da CNA é da Armênia. E tô indo pra uma festa caipira, né? Porque ele é um caipira, então, pô, isso é loucura. Cara, sonhar, todo mundo sonha. Ele já tá sonhando comigo já faz tempo, então tá tudo bem, sabe? Não tem problema, deixa ele continuar sonhando. Mas jamais respeitar ele, o atleta que ele é, o que ele fez, sabe, dentro do UFC. Ele lutou com os melhores. Mas a pessoa dele, nem um pouco de respeito, nem um pouco. Eu fico triste por ele não tomar cuidado com as falas dele, independente do que ele acredita ou deixa de acreditar. Acho que quando você se torna uma pessoa pública, na qual você tem um poder na sua palavra, você tem que tomar muito cuidado, independente de qualquer coisa. E ele não tem esse cuidado, ele não respeita crianças, ele não respeita ninguém, entendeu? Não respeita Deus, que ele tanto diz que crê. Então, um cara que usa uma camiseta com a imagem de Jesus e 2 armas do lado, isso aí não faz muito sentido. Mas tudo bem, isso aí não interfere em nada, ele vai apanhar igual. E se ele acredita que ele vai me bater, isso é perfeito, né?
You know, I'm coming off of an Armenian party in my last fight into a hillbilly party for this fight. So, you know, anyone can dream, and apparently he's been dreaming about me for a while. You know, I never disrespected him as a fighter, his skills or his abilities. He's fought really tough guys in the UFC, but, you know, it actually upsets me that, you know, he can believe whatever he wants to believe, but it upsets me that he doesn't see the position that he's in as a public person and doesn't mind his words and disrespects people and children and everything else. And he talks a lot about God, but he wears, you know, a T-shirt with God with guns around it. So that makes no sense to me. So, yeah, it's a lot of contradictions.
Not going to sugarcoat it. You brought a lot of this on yourself with your comments, and Dana obviously reacted, called you one of the dumbest people. But like was said earlier, he did give you a platform. Through all of this, what have you learned through the past month or so?
I've learned to be totally fearless. No man controls me or controls what I say, and my research on history is up to me, and no man determines what my thoughts and my opinions are or how I raise my son and what is taught in my household. And for me and my household, we will serve the Lord.
With all the commotion, all the controversy, have you been able to focus on this fight and focus on Gene Silva?
I'm fully focused, brother.
Thank you.
Hey, Bryce, how are you? I'm from Brazil. In Brazil, there's like a mixed bag of feelings. People feeling like the Gian is taking this too personal. And he said the other day, it's not personal to him. Is it personal to you?
I'm going to personally whoop his ass.
What's up, Bryce? Do you plan to use your Brazilian jiu-jitsu more to your advantage in this fight, or do you think you're going to get the knockout?
I'm going to use my American jiu-jitsu.
All right. When you said you saw demons in John Silva in your dreams, what did you see specifically?
Well, you know, I don't think that John has anything to do with my dreams. I don't think he's doing any type of witchcraft. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Satan has put a spell over me when I sleep that I'm seeing these demons, and I see legions of demons, and I'll fight them with my fists, and then I would fight them all night. I'd hit them, and they fall down, hit them, and they fall down. But then I'd wake up covered in sweat, and then I'd go back to sleep, and then it would be just beautiful women trying to tempt me to cheat on my wife in my dreams. And this happened for 2 weeks in a row. And so that's when I knew that this is not normal. This is not something that has ever happened to me, and so that this is a spiritual attack. So I went to the church asking for prayer, and the dreams receded after I asked many Christians for prayer. And if you're going through something like that, always ask for prayer. And always say the name of Jesus in the dream. Now, the problem was for me is that I could not remember the name of Jesus in the dream. So I was doing having all these dreams, and I was fighting demons and casting out women in my dreams by myself, and I'm too weak to do that by myself. And so you have to have the Spirit with you when you're tempted by the flesh. And, so if those dreams are happening to you, call on Jesus in the dream, and it will stop. But I was having problems with that. I asked people for prayer, and it went away, and that's the power of prayer. And demonic dreams are real. I don't care if anybody says that I'm an idiot, I got CTE, or I need a therapist. I don't need a therapist. I need prayer, and I need Jesus Christ.
At the press conference, you brought the Globe out. You were tweeting at him about his dreams. You posted a video clip of Inglourious Basterds. So I'm curious, have you enjoyed the build-up to this fight, or do you think maybe Bryce is taking this a little too personally?
Eu quero acreditar que ele só esteja vendendo alguma coisa, a luta em si, entrando na onda ali, porque se ele realmente tem essas opiniões que ele anda falando aí do bigode aí, eu acho que ele tem sérios problemas mentais. Mas não, ele não tá levando pro lado pessoal não, esquece isso aí. De certa forma ele já sabia de tudo isso aqui. Eu não sei se é a primeira coletiva de imprensa que ele participa, eu acho que não, né? Então ele já viu, tem muito tempo de casa, muito mais tempo que eu. Nessa parte aqui, a régua dele é mais extensa que a minha, então ele sabe como funciona esse jogo, então pro lado pessoal não. Acho que para tocar no lado pessoal dele eu teria que falar mal de Deus, então isso nunca vai acontecer, né? Então não tá levando pro lado pessoal não. Tem algumas coisas ou outras ali que eu sei que mexe na cabeça dele ali e eu vou devagarzinho vou vendo até onde ele vai.
You know, I really hope that he's just trying to sell the fight and promote the fight, because some of the opinions and beliefs that he's got about, the guy with the mustache is just incredible. It's I don't even know what to say, but, I don't think he's taking it personally that hard, because for him to take it personally, I think I would need to speak about God, and I'm not going to speak badly about God. So, no, I don't think he's taking it that personal.